My dear little nutcracker, you've gotten stronger since I last saw you. Remember back then you used to play every single Atari available on the board, just like this, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum. Yes, those were the days. The days when you made plenty of mistakes, I mean. You know, I saw your game against the Mouse King the other day, and boy, did he play a lot of Ataris in that game.
So many mistakes, right?
And you responded to every single one of them.
Yes, I did.
And you also ended up losing that game.
That's weird.
But seriously, once our own stones are already in Atari, shouldn't we just hurry and save them? I mean, shouldn't we just connect like before? Our opponent has weaknesses and we're safe and happy.
Quick, to the rescue!
Well, not so fast. You see, there's Atari and there is Atari. No, not this one. I mean, some Atari are just more important than others, and we're going to have to learn to see the difference. People tend to be afraid of Atari because they always imagine something like this. An Atari in capture, and then there's a Tanuki shape, and it's worth so much more than just 2 points, but an Atari is not always worth that much. Here's a couple of Ataris side by side. Suppose you're black in this game, and you need to choose between saving these 3 stones or these 3.
But they are the same.
Nope, they're not the same. One of these options is a lot better than the other. Well, imagine there's a goodie bandit on the loose, stealing cookies and candy from everyone, and he's about to steal a box of chocolates from you. Except you have 2 of them. One of them is full of delicious chocolates, and the other one, it looks just like an ordinary box of chocolates, but there are no chocolates inside. So do you know which box you'd rather give up?
I think I know.
I bet you do. You might feel a little sorry letting go of that empty box, but in fact you'd better keep that other box that's full of chocolates and happily give the bandit your empty box. It looks just as beautiful on the outside and it might trick the bandit. Except, he's not getting any chocolates today, because guess what? You already ate all those mouth-watering treats. Indeed, playing Atari is like a box of chocolates. But I'm getting distracted. Now let's take a look at this position one more time. These 3 stones on the left, this is our box full of chocolates right there. And if we save them right now, then all of the white stones are suddenly disconnected. These 3 stones are here, these 3 stones on the left, there's a cut here. White is in a lot of trouble here. And if we imagine that white captures them, then all of white's trouble is just magically gone, and these black stones are doing nothing here. They're standing here without any purpose. These 3 stones are what we call cutting stones. They separate our opponent's stones, and even though it seems that it's only worth 1, 2, 3 stones, so it's 6 points, but it's worth far more than that. So we can't ever let our opponents capture them. On the other hand, these 3 stones, this is our empty box of chocolates. They look almost the same, but even if we save these stones right now, white is so strong that we can't threaten white in any way. We're only showing white that we're not ready to give the stones up, and white will keep on pressuring them. Now, since we just saved 3 stones and we have 4, are we going to sacrifice 4 stones now? Probably not, so we'll save them again. Now we get 5 stones, 6 stones, 7 stones, more, and the more stones we have, the more difficult it becomes to sacrifice them. In an actual game, the value of these stones would be very close to 6 points. So unless it's endgame right now, black probably wouldn't want to save these stones, and white wouldn't capture them either. So we need to come up with some rules to decide when we should save our stones and when we shouldn't. And just because this is the first lesson, let's limit the number of rules to just 1.
Oh, I like that.
Alright, so every time you find your stones in Atari, ask yourself one simple question. If I don't save the stones and my opponent captures, will his stones become stronger? If the answer is yes, then maybe your stones are more important than they seem. Maybe they're worth more than their face value, and you need to save them right now. If the answer is no, the stones will remain, they were strong and they will be strong, then maybe the stones are not so important and you don't have to save them. Does it sound complicated? Well, let me show you another example. Here we have 1 stone in Atari on the left and 5 stones in Atari on the right. It's black's turn, so which one would you save right now? Let's start with those 5 stones on the right, and we ask ourselves the question, if we don't save them right now and white captures them, will white become stronger? White has some cutting points, but we can't really use them. If we cut here, white will capture. If we cut here, white will capture. So even if white captures those stones, yes, this is a profit of 10 points, but there's nothing more. White was strong before, and white remains strong. And now this one stone on the left. And this is actually a part of a very common modern joseki. And we ask ourselves the same question as before. If we don't save the stone and white captures it, what's going to happen? Will white get stronger? Let's check. White captures the stone, and suddenly white has no weaknesses at all. All of white's stones are strong. The black stones in the corner, they're dying. Black needs to add a move here. So black has to play here. White will separate, black will live. This stone is doing nothing. White is really happy here. And now in contrast, if black saves this stone, like it absolutely should, the situation will be very different. And it's a big fight. These stones are separated. There's a weakness, so white needs to protect. White probably plays something like this. Black can push again. White defends. Now, there's trouble with these stones. Black can attack them. Black can attack these stones in the future. And yes, it doesn't matter that one stone seems to be worth 2 points and 5 stones are worth 10 points. It doesn't really work this way. In this example, this one stone is a lot more valuable than the 5 stones on the right. And in the game, you really need to save this one and give up the 5 stones. Now, let me show you an example of this Atari madness from an actual game. This is a game of 2 of our subscribers, Xnif and Abeka. At the time when they played this game, they were 5 and 4Q respectively. All of our attention is on this part of the board. White doesn't have 2 eyes here yet, but white found a very nice way to connect their stones. White cut here, black disconnected. Now, white pushes, black needs to capture. Now this is Sente, black connects. And now, cut here, black captures, Atari, black connects. And now, this is a very important point. Black is not alive here either, so black connects. White makes an exchange here, then another exchange here, a bamboo joint. Black connects. White attaches, and after this, white simply extends, and all of the black stones are separated. They don't have 2 eyes, and they will die. Wait, did you miss it? Did you see what the problem was? Let's go back. White found a very nice way to escape and connect. White played this Atari. And this is Atari, so we have to ask ourselves the same question as before. If we don't connect and white captures, will it make white stronger? Well, let's check. If white captures these stones, black can capture this one stone back. So this Atari is actually not worth anything. It's helping white escape, but that's it. Capturing these 2 stones for white is not even worth the 4 points it should be, because black can capture it back. And it doesn't really influence the status of the white group. The white stones are still connected and safely outside. And that means that we don't want to connect from this Atari. On the other hand, this point was so important in the game, and white managed to play there first because black connected. But if black doesn't save these stones, black can take that point right now. Black plays here. This position is still better for white, but at least black is not dying, and all the white stones still don't have 2 eyes yet. You know, I think one of the reasons why we always want to save our stones from Atari is conditioning, or to be more precise, Pavlovian conditioning. It has the name of a Russian physiologist, Ivan Pavlov, who did his famous experiments with the dogs, when dogs were given food, and at the same time they would ring a bell. And the dogs would learn to associate food with the sound of the bell. And over time, they would ring a bell without giving them any food. And the dogs would start salivating and showing every sign of excitement for food, even though no food was actually there. And in the same way, when you're walking around the shopping mall and you suddenly hear some Christmas music, it immediately makes you want to get into this festive mood and you want to buy some presents for your friends and family. And saving stones from Atari kind of works in a very similar way. The first time you ever come to a Go Club and they show you the rules of the game, they teach you that this is Atari and you have to save your stones. It's very important that you see it and notice it in the game. And yes, On your very first day, if you notice an Atari and you save your stones all the time, this might win you a few games. But then over time you get used to it and you save your stones all the time, and you just get used to the idea that Atari is synonymous with check in chess. But it's not. Check cannot be avoided because you can't sacrifice your king, but an Atari can be. You don't really need to save your stones. You don't have to save them. You always have that choice, and you should ask yourself that question. Do I need to save those stones? And now let me show you one more example from another Q player's game. Black is a 7Q and white is 5Q, and this is a 2-stone handicap game. In the game, black played this Atari, and would you believe it, Nutcracker? White just connected. But let's go back and check. If white doesn't save the stone and allows black to capture it like this, does black become stronger? Not at all. Black had already captured some stones here. Black is super strong. What about white? Does white become weaker after this capture? No, the corner is still very strong. It means that black spent 2 moves to capture this 1 stone, and because this 1 stone doesn't really give any profit to either side, it's worth maybe 2 points. So if we go back, before black even plays this Atari, because this Atari is quite small, actually black has a much better move on the board. And do you want to try and guess which one? There are many moves on the board right now that are bigger than this Atari, but the biggest of them all is probably to cut here, because these stones can't live on the right, and as soon as black cuts here, all the white stones on the right are just dead. This is certainly a lot bigger than capturing this 1 stone on the left. But even if we imagine that this weakness is not here, it doesn't exist, and black still plays this Atari, white still shouldn't connect, because this connection doesn't really help white, and it doesn't hurt black. So a much better move for white would be, for example, to take the top side. Just take the top like this, and if black captures, we could play this. And we're exchanging this 1 stone for this. Not a bad exchange at all, what do you think? And before you run and happily solve problems in the practice section, let me show you one last example from a professional game this time. This game was played by 2 Japanese professionals, Kobayashi Izumi and Manami Kana. Right now it's white's turn, and there's a threat on the left, but white decided to ignore it and played a corner enclosure. Naturally, black proceeds with the threat and plays an Atari. And here's the question. What do we do now as white? Do we save the stone? Do we respond some other way? Do we tenuki? What would you play? The group on the left is not that strong, so we probably want to help it somehow. Tenuki would be too dangerous. But if we save that stone directly like this, then first of all, this is a bad shape. This is an empty triangle. And now black can simply extend like this. And the white stones are separated. Now white is looking at a very unpleasant fight with 2 groups in the center. If white tries to run like this, then, for example, this move is sente, white needs to connect, and white has 2 weak groups. So even though saving the stone seems to be important, we can't really do it. So what do we play? We can use these 2 stones for a clever sacrifice. So we can counter Atari and allow black to capture it. Black takes, and now white simply Ataris from here. And if black connects, white fixes the shape like this. This way, white got a chance to play elsewhere once, and then gave up the stone and made a very good shape. In the first course on typical mistakes, I told you that you shouldn't Atari automatically. Well, in this course, I'm here to tell you that you shouldn't save your stones from Atari automatically either. So next time when you see an Atari and your hand just wants to take a stone and connect right away, stop and ask yourself a question. Is that stone really important? Do I really want to save it right now? Answer this question, and only after this, play a move. By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.